Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. Let's see. I'm using my device audio. All right, hold on. All right, so I'm looking at you, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Uh, I'm in the temple. I want to get my audio right. Hold on. Stand by. I don't know what's happening. I'm not muted. Hold on. That's crazy. I don't know. Do you have me muted? I'm ready. Hey, where's Timmy? She's an IT person. Okay, you guys can hear us on YouTube. Okay, so apparently they can hear us on YouTube, but I can't hear you. And I don't read lips well. Okay, so let's see. Let me try to listen to YouTube. Let's see what's up. Man, it's a lot to be said today, too. My phone is beeping. Oh, okay. So, Lachelle, okay, they can't hear. Okay, so they can't hear you. Okay, so this is crazy. YouTube can't hear you. All right. So let's see. Okay.
I'm going to stop this podcast and I'm going to start over. So make sure you just give.
I can't hear you. I'm trying to watch you on YouTube because they can hear me on YouTube. Don't stress. It's good. Have a cigar, man. Have a cigar.
All right, guys, do me a
Just
favor.
smoke.
I'm
Don't
going to
worry
stop
about it.
this podcast and I'm going to start over. So make sure you.
Because they can hear me on YouTube. Oh, I can hear myself on YouTube. Don't stress. It's good. Have a cigar, man. Have a cigar. Just smoke. Don't worry about it. Because they can hear me on YouTube. Oh, I can hear myself on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I'm here. So check it out, everybody. What I was going to talk about while she's working on what she's doing. First of all, what Lachelle, I want to thank you so much. Can, you can hear me? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Jesus.
No. Jeez.
Hey, what's going on?
Look, this is crazy. I'm blown away. You
Hey,
know,
they could hear me on YouTube and they couldn't hear you.
this is just freaking crazy.
I was trying to tell you, whenever it gets this crazy, just light up, man.
Um, a windstorm just approached. I just brought it inside. Once it dies down, I'm going back outside and I'm gonna join my smoke. But in the meantime,
Oh,
while we got everybody here, we're gonna go ahead and start the conversation. And I am just so thankful for everybody for bearing this with me,
hey,
with
you're a
us.
great spirit, man. You're a great spirit.
You know,
You know, I know about those technical difficulties.
technical difficulties as well as spiritual
Weather.
warfare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being that you're a man of God, and I believe to be a woman of faith and a woman of God, I believe in spiritual warfare.
Absolutely.
So, that's one. Hey guys, all of our viewers, thank you. I applaud you guys. I applaud you for hanging in there with me. Oh Lord.
Hey, I'm in
So
the temple.
the temple.
The temple. You're going to be my first installment of Temple Talks.
Oh, okay. So this,
Oh,
I like that.
uh-huh.
Temple talks.
Yeah. Yeah, Temple Talks. Now I have to like take the message off my phone because it just beeps too much. But anyway, what's
Okay.
happening? What's going on? I know we're like 38 minutes behind. Well, no, you have an hour.
Really,
Roughly.
it doesn't matter. We can take it as long as we want, but I value everybody's time for hanging in
Absolutely.
there, so I don't want to go over an hour.
Absolutely. You know,
But
I actually have another Zoom meeting anyway. You know how that
oh, okay. What time is your Zoom meeting?
goes. Oh, 7.
Okay,
So
we're gonna make this, we're gonna wrap
we're
it up
good.
real quick.
Take your time. We're
But
good.
in the meantime, I want you to introduce yourself to our viewers and let them know who you are and what it is that you do. I kind of hinted on that you're a co-owner of a lounge there in Houston. Share that with our viewers as well as your personal life, being a man of faith.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have an interest in McCoy's Fine Cigars, 900 Capitol Street here in the city of Houston, Texas. Daryl Pretlow is the majority owner there, and he's my little god brother. And he kind of brought me into this venture. It was something that just kind of fell in his lap, and then he calls me as soon as he gets a hold to the situation and says, "Hey, man, I need your help." The first thing he needed me to do was come in and pray God's blessings over it.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, because we're men of faith. And the truth of the matter is that there's no profitability, there's no productivity, and there's no real purpose if what you do, if your personal faith, if what you do is not ultimately giving glory to God. Because oftentimes when we
Mhm.
have successes or when we're able to achieve certain things, we think it's due to our academic prowess, our intellectual capacity, or our 401k, 403b, or because we have good discipline when it comes to fiscal management. But the reality is God is the source. And ultimately, once I went in and really kind of became like the faith partner in McCoy's and the faith leader there, we do a study there called Sticks and Study. That's a Bible study that we actually do in the cigar lounge, Sticks and Study, and that's formulating on Sundays at 1 p.m. for 1 hour.
Mhm.
It's open, it's co-ed, so that's pretty cool. As
Mm.
far as me, I mean, I pastor in Windsor, Connecticut. I live in Houston, Texas, and I pastor in Windsor, Connecticut. I actually have a virtual online church. We were already virtual and streaming online 2.5, almost 3 years ago, simply because after my father passed in Texas, I'm originally from Texas.
Mhm.
After my father passed, I wanted to relocate and be back closer to my family. It was a necessity.
Excuse me.
Unless
Excuse me.
it was a
Thank you.
necessity. I usually hang up on people due to COVID-19 when they sneeze on me while I'm talking, but
Mhm.
nonetheless, that was a joke. But nonetheless, nonetheless, really in coming back and moving back here, the church, just beautiful people, wonderful people, and what my congregation, my in-person congregation has taught me over the last few years, and they've really proven to me the transformative power of faith in the people to where you don't have to have a high quantitative amount of people for God to do high
Mhm.
qualitative work and business
Exactly.
in your life. And so we've been able to expand the platform, especially since with the new virtual context with church. And let me just pause for a moment. I'll
Mhm.
certainly invite you as well as everyone
Mhm.
who's watching. I don't know if you're already attending somewhere virtually, but I broadcast from my home. And every Sunday at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, you can meet us over at cfcvirtual.org. I'll send you all the information, Michelle.
Great. That'll be great.
And I teach on Tuesday nights at 7:05 p.m. And then I teach on Sundays at 10 a.m. All of these are Eastern times. And so between that, between the cigars and between the ecclesiastical work, I also have a corporate consulting business. My secular academics, my undergrad is in mass communications. My master's is in business administration with a concentration in marketing management, and my doctorate is in
Mm.
business administration with a concentration in
Mm.
business intelligence. And I wrote my dissertation on some nerdy stuff: dysfunctional functioning organizations, transforming theoretical management into practical leadership. All right, that's enough.
Wow. That wow.
Let's get at it,
That went
man. What's
all
happening?
over. That went way over my head.
Hey, so people don't get it confused and think I'm confused. Let's get at it. What's with it?
Was with it. Well, I first want to thank you for joining me on Experience the Leaf Patio Conversations, which,
Cool.
this kind of started on a whim, just trying to build up my platform when it comes
Yeah,
to being a cigar aficionado. How you say that word?
aficionado.
Look, I'm a good old country girl,
Well,
I'll
I'm from
mess up
Longview, Texas, so I understand country.
I'll mess up a name in a heartbeat, which I do not, use it as an excuse. I need to do better. And I'm
Okay.
going to try myself to do better,
Well, I mean,
with
just
my pronunciations and
yeah,
all
keep
that kind
working
of
at it.
thing. I'm going to keep working on it. I know. But, one of the things I wanted to talk about, since our time is limited, I just want to go jump into it because when you talk about being a person of faith, we can be really dogmatic when it comes to our beliefs. And me being raised in the church and even being um, um, a leader in the church, my thought processes were very narrow. And until I branched out into this community of cigar smokers, my eyes were kind of like opened. And while I'm in the lounges, I run into a lot of men of faith, a lot of men that I look up to that I would have never thought would walk into a cigar lounge,
Mhm.
but because my thought processes have changed, I was like, you know what, these men, they need an outlet. They need to go somewhere that they do not always have to be concerned about what people think. And I think being in a lounge and having this outlet is a great opportunity for them to do that and just be human for a minute, you know?
Mhm.
So I just want to know, what are your thoughts to people who may have thought the way I thought, or may think the way that I did? You know, how can you be a man of faith or a woman of God, and you're smoking cigars, that nasty thing, or you're drinking wine or whatever, or you're drinking scotch or whatever you're drinking? Why would you defile your body like that?
Mhm.
Oh,
I
so
think you
what are, just, you know, give me your thoughts on that whole process and being a brother of belief as well as a man of faith.
Well, you have a delusional concept of what it means to be a believer in God,
Hmm.
because none of those things have anything to do with relationship. I have a very unique
Hmm.
situation as a
Relationship.
pastor.
Relationship.
Exactly. And I'm going to hit that in a minute. I have a very unique situation as pastor of Community Fellowship Church in Windsor, because I have members. Members. I have special. I have members. I have a pastoral care team that watches out for me, and
Hmm.
they buy me cigars, or they send me money to buy me cigars. Terry, who's there, she sends me cigars.
Hmm.
I have people that actually send me cigars, because cigars have nothing to do with my anointing, my capacity, my ability, or my call.
Yes.
And really, most people who are theological legalists, as you just described yourself having been at one time, and there are a lot of people who are yet still theological legalists and religionists instead of relationists.
Hmm.
Those individuals are individuals who are very hell bent on judging their observation of what they consider to be actionable sins, and they oftentimes miss the reality of their attitudinal sins, which is what God looks at. In
Yes.
other
Yes.
words, you're looking at, when it comes, I mean, I have a lot of pastor friends, a lot of pastor friends and preacher friends. Some of them have to stay cool. Some of them have to stay in the closet about their little stuff. But for me, I'm 52 years old, so I don't have a lot of validation to give to anybody, and I don't have any
Hmm.
explaining to do to anybody as it relates to both professionally, vocationally, spiritually. My relationship with God is my relationship with God. And if my
Hmm.
smoking a cigar is causing your faith to faint, then
Hmm.
you probably need to go back and check the reality of your faith. Now, I do
Hmm.
understand that we have to be mindful of our witness and our testimony. We have to be
Yes.
mindful of the fact that there are some people who just simply aren't ready. But that's because we have done such an erroneous and egregiously erroneous job at presenting the theological precepts of what the Bible is speaking to us when it comes to the relationship with God, to where we have begun to simply drill sins down into
Mm.
categories as if one is greater than the other.
Right.
So at the end of the day, while you're looking at me smoking my cigar and asking me how I'm defiling my body, well, the question is, what are you putting in your body? How are you eating? How are you drinking? What you got going on? And
Or
then
what
what you
comes
really
out of your mouth.
I was just about to say, and then you really need to check to see what is the attitude and that thing coming out of your mouth called judgment that you might need to check.
Hmm.
So, and I'm not saying that with an attitude, but I'm just saying we don't really have a lot of time to keep playing the theological games that has been played over the last century.
Hmm.
And the reason I say that is because if you don't sense urgency in the atmosphere now like ever before,
Right.
like never before. If you
Never
don't sense
before.
that, and I don't know what you believe about Jesus Christ coming back and him returning, but I'm telling you, if there was ever a time that I thought that his return was imminent in any day now,
Hmm.
I'm looking at the context of COVID-19. I'm looking at the communications between the races in our country. I'm looking
Hmm.
at all of the things that's taking place. I just had a conversation with a young lady today. As a matter of fact, she's a white counterpart. I had a conversation with her today, and she was like, it just should have been a different George Floyd. I'll just use this as a pivot.
Mm.
She said
Hmm.
it should have been a different George Floyd. I said, well, here's what you fail to realize, because she calls herself a Christian as well. And I'm not saying that she isn't. I said, but
Right.
tell me, where in the Bible do you see God using any pristine personality of a character to do great things for him? God has
Right.
always used the ratchet more than those who thought they were righteous. God has always used those who were weak as opposed to those who thought that they were actually strong. God has always used the dumb to confound the wise. He used an ass to talk to a man.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm making is God does not have to discriminate as we do. And I don't know how we
Hmm.
discriminate because we're not creators, right?
True.
God being the creator, if he's indiscriminate,
Mhm.
and it's not because of his omniscience only, it's because of his true grace and his love. If he's indiscriminate about covering all sins, then
Mhm.
why I thought I was at my church. Why I don't know what this audience is because somebody might have stumbled on that, but
That's all
then
right.
why is it that we have the nerve to be discriminate and prejudicial when it comes to what we deem sinful and not?
Mhm.
Cigars,
Yeah.
the leaf comes from the ground.
Somebody will
Ecuadorian,
still make that a issue.
well, that's good and fine and well, and I'll tell you what that is. That's their issue.
Right. Okay. Okay. I hear you. That's their issue.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
their
you
issue.
said, a lot of things that we do here on this earth has to do with our relationship when it comes to whatever we deem sinful, or our relationship with Christ.
Well, watch this. Let me take the subjectivity out of that.
Okay.
Our relationship doesn't have anything to do with what we deem sinful. Our relationship has everything to do with understanding what is sinful.
Mm-hmm.
Because to say that it's what we deem sinful, well, I mean, it may be some things that I like that I just won't deem that sinful.
Right. And whatever we think in our own eyes is to be true.
Right. And because
So
it's not about who is right, it's about what is right. There has to be
hmm
a static rule.
hmm
RULE, that rule, there has to be a static law that says, okay, this is sin, this is not sin.
right, right. I got you.
Anytime we put gray in the gospel,
hmm
we're going to lose.
hmm
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 And it's not popular because people don't like to
Oh
choose
no.
sides because choosing sides mean number one, I'm responsible for my choice. Number two, I'm responsible to be committed to my choice. And number three, I'm responsible for the results of my choice.
Yes, I hear you. That is so
I
true.
think I'm talking too much. If you have questions or something to ask, I really
No,
want to turn
no.
it
I
into
mean, I wanted to know what it is that you had to say on this issue. I mean, this is just one question. Um, but yeah, tell me what you're smoking. What are you
so check it
smoking?
out. I'm smoking an Aston Symmetry. It's an Ecuadorian Ecuadorian wrapper. It's got an Ecuadorian filler. It's about a nice medium smoke. It has a really nice earthy and creamy
Mm,
type profile on it. So I know you can't smoke yours right now,
not right now.
but
Hopefully,
hey, watch this.
I
Watch
think
this.
it'll
See how
blow it
you look
over.
back? But I'm in the temple,
I hear
so
you.
I can
You in
smoke
the
mine.
temple. You, that's your temple.
Hmm.
Is that one of your favorite smokes? Or do you have a favorite that you normally go to, or you just open to anything?
No,
Or you have
I
a
really
flavor
like,
profile?
yeah, I really like I like the more I don't like pepper. I don't like spicy. I try for the first time today I tried the fat bottom Betty.
Oh, okay.
I almost got sick. That thing was too
Why, it was too
sweet.
sweet?
Oh
I
my
think,
God.
in my opinion, the fat bottom belly has like a balance. I thought it had a balance of sweetness as well as tobacco. I
Well, I
think
mean,
the acid's a lot more sweeter, and it has like,
yeah, yeah. I
it
mean, I'm personally not a big acid fan. Now, I do if I want something sweet, I'll probably go with the toast or the extraordinary Larry with the acid because that's a real full type smoke.
hmm I haven't tried
Um,
those.
you ever tried the toast?
No,
Oh man, let me see. Hold on.
I have
I don't know
not.
if I have. I don't know if I have it.
I don't think I've heard of it, but I'm still
See how I got
learning.
the
I'm
temper
still
tricked out?
developing. I
Yeah, the
see.
temper's
You
tricked
got
out,
your
man. We got
speakers
music.
all
We
up
got
in the back and
man,
everything.
what? Yeah, I thought I had it in here. But yeah, I love the acid toast. That's the only
So,
one really from Drew Estates that I mean
so
acid loving.
I see that's your travel humidor. That's what you're gonna
Yeah.
smoke on this week?
Yeah, this is what I'm smoking on this week. So a brother out of Chicago named Rob, he has a line called Blow and Smoke,
Oh,
and we feature his line. He has
blow and
both a
smoke.
medium to full. He has a
Mm,
medium to full body line. He has a flavored line, which is honey vanilla strawberry, and then he has a honey vanilla.
mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. And then also everybody knows this
Emperor's
one.
cut. The
This
Empress.
is this is the go-to right here, man.
Yes, yes.
The leaves are long. Man, this thing burned. This is probably the most smooth burning stick
Mm-hmm.
outside of my favorite stick of all time ever that I've ever had in my whole life, which is the Cuban Monte Cristo
Okay.
1935.
Thanks for that insight. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
check them all out.
it's a little costly, but I'm telling you right now, I don't know that you'll ever have. I'm just telling you right now, I don't know if you ever have a stick that's better than that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the Monte Cristo 80th Anniversario.
Okay,
So
guys, y'all hear that? Y'all got it?
yeah, so I don't know if anybody's typing anything, but certainly, and then of course you got to have got to have your stick.
Right.
Yeah, you got to have your stick,
Let
and
me see your
so
stick. Did you have that personalized for you? Your poker, your stick. Oh, he's a Kappa
uh,
man. A Kappa man.
uh, yeah. So and then of course I got my cutter, I got my Calibri cutter. I have both it's a straight and a deep V.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love my Calibra cutter. I just got my B cutter and I love it. I've been using those cheap plastic ones. Don't do it any justice when it comes to cutting
Hey,
your
and watch
stick.
this. Let me trip you out with the preaching. Then if you act crazy, I'm a,
I see you. Look, I actually posted on my Facebook just recently that I am thinking about getting myself one because I was
think it.
so thinking about it
You don't
because
want me to start talking
I
about that.
was so gung ho against having a gun in my house. All my boys carry, husband carry, and I've even shot a few rounds with them. But I was like, long as y'all got it locked up, cut, and they've had guns since they were small. Because we, like I said, we grew up in the country, and
Right.
they got those shotguns when they go hunting and stuff. I said, like, as long as you have them out in, they're not, back
Listen.
there.
Well, I mean,
But
when you got a husband and when you got boys that carry guns, come on,
mhm,
mommy, you don't really. You
look,
good.
I'm I'm good,
Yeah,
but
you good.
I'm not always with them. They're not my
Hmm.
protection. So what does Medea say? What is I forgot what
Hey,
her saying was.
this is what I say. I can lead you to Jesus or save you to him. It just depends on how you want to act with it.
We're living in those
I'm probably not.
times.
I'm probably not your mother's type preacher, man. I'm a whole different type dude. I
You'd
have
be
some of my members watching right
surprised.
now. Too.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
My
my
mom,
boys and I, we cut up.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's right.
But
So
let me talk a little bit just right quick because I know you had
please
asked me
do.
before
Please
this
do.
about the whole cigar and the preaching thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my father, I'm a fifth generation preacher, right?
Oh wow.
So I watched my grandfathers smoke cigars. They were
Mm-hmm.
pastors for over 40 plus years. My father, he smoked cigarettes and then he moved to cigars. Um, and for me, back in college, I smoked a lot of weed. So um,
No, you didn't.
I'm just saying, I mean, I killed a lot of trees. But what I did was, and then the other thing about this, check this out. You know that you're really free from something when you can talk about it.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You,
yeah, I
you,
do.
there are a lot of people who they just can't talk about stuff because they're really not free from it.
Mm-hmm.
So any of my resume and
Mm-hmm.
any residue from the recklessness of my life, I'm free to talk about it because
You're
one of
no
my
longer
favorite
that
sayings
person.
is, yeah, you can't strip a naked man.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm already stripped, I mean, I've already neutralized anything you have to say. But what I was bringing up about the cigar is that, listen, I get my best studying in. That's why this is the temple. This is actually my smoke room, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get my best study in when I fire up a stick, I sit down with the word, because the connection between the cigar and my study is commitment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to miss that.
Commitment.
Commitment. When I sit down and fire up a stick, the one thing I know is I'm not about to get up in 20 minutes,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
It's a commitment, and it's anywhere from an hour to, depend upon what type of stick and how you're smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere from an hour to 3 hours long. Well, while I'm sitting there smoking, it's not the cigar that's giving me any magical quote unquote anointing or power to
Mm-hmm.
study any more than I'm doing. I'm just locked in
Right.
because what cigars represent to me, I'm not one, you know, being at a cigar lounge, you know, I'm not a real big fan. I'm kind of an old school cigar kind of guy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm not a fan of a lot of noise and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of extra. When I go into a cigar spot, I'm not going to a Black and Mild spot.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So with that in mind, a cigar to me, it represents commitment because you got to sit down with this. So I
Mm-hmm.
know when I open up the word and I fire up a stick, I'm going to sit here. I don't want the phone to ring. I don't want to be bothered. You know, my general rule is, and everybody that's known me, I've been preaching now for almost 34 years.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturdays, by 6 p.m. on Saturdays, there are people watching us right now, and I hope some of them say, "Yeah, I know Terry or
Mm-hmm.
somebody's on here watching." There are people on here who can tell you 6 o'clock, don't even call this phone
Right.
because that's my time out of all of the week when I've been doing my business, when I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
all the different things that I've been doing. I have to reconcile my emotions from the week. I just
Mm-hmm.
did a couple of funerals, over the past few
Mm-hmm.
weeks. You have to travel, all this type of stuff. At 6 o'clock, I got to have my cigar
Mm-hmm.
and my word because I'm responsible for the 45 minutes to 1 hour that people get on Sunday morning. I have to commit a minimum of 15 to 20 hours in preparation for that 1 hour.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is what helps me get through it.
Yeah. One thing I know with me or with anything that I do, I need, and cigars help me with that. It helps me to get my mind off of what's
Hmm.
going on at the moment.
Hmm.
I'm able to clear my mind and actually have a conversation with God. I sit out
Right.
on my patio, the birds be chirping, the wind is
Hmm.
blowing, and I can see clouds or no clouds. And it just brings a sense of peace with me
Right.
where I can actually have a conversation on the patio with our creator. And and it gives me a sense of being able to just like breathe,
Hmm.
exhale,
Hmm.
and that's the enjoyment that I get out of it because I
Hmm.
enjoy going to the lounges as well. I enjoy the conversations I've had with my fellow brothers and sisters of the leaf, um, and or I can just move to the corner and say, this is just my time. I'm really not into having a lot of conversations right now, and I do our cordial hellos and whatever. But I really find that time of being able to enjoy the pleasure of a good stick it just brings me to a whole place of pleasure, you know.
Hmm.
That's just for me.
Hmm. Hmm. So,
So
so here's the thing that I think that's really important. If no one else gets anything else from our
mhm.
call,
Okay.
the opinions of people don't matter.
Hmm.
I'm going to give you a scripture.
All right, y'all write this
Romans
down.
chapter.
Look, y'all write it down.
So whenever you're concerned about what anyone has to say about you and your relationship with God, here's the
Hmm.
scripture. Romans chapter 14, verse number 12.
Okay,
I'll tell you what it says.
please do.
So then every one of us shall give account of himself
Hmm.
to God. You won't give account for me,
Hmm.
and I won't give account for you. Now, as a
Hmm.
pastor, I have to give account for myself and my congregation.
Right.
But that account that I have to give for my congregation has everything to do with my work with the congregation. I have to give an account for myself to God for my
Hmm.
own personal devotion. So the point is, when it comes down to the opinions of others, and absolutely, as a woman of faith, as a
Hmm.
man of faith, we have a responsibility and an obligation to make sure that we do all that we can to protect the integrity of our witness and our testimony
Hmm.
so that we can have impact in people's lives by influencing them through the
Hmm.
observations which they make of us.
Gotcha.
But here's what Jesus said: upon this rock, I will build my church.
Mm-hmm. And the gates.
You've never seen a rock take formation inside of a building, have you?
No, 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 no,
No, no, I can tell you. No, you haven't.
no, we
You've
haven't.
never seen a rock take formation inside of a building. Here's the point I'm making. He says, upon this rock, of course, the theological reference is him. He's saying, upon this solid, I'm better than the rock of Gibraltar. But but notice he uses a rock, and a rock forms outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and if you look at the ministry of Christ, all of his work was most effective outside of the temple.
Yes, sir.
He only caught hell when he came into the temple. That's why it's no longer, look, I could really take you to Revelation chapter 3, where it talks about he's knocking on the hearts of men.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even knocking on the door of the church anymore because the church put him out.
Well, we know the church is us. So if you don't,
Uh,
oh, you don't open the door of your heart and let him come sup with you, then you have not received him.
that's the whole
But
point. And so the people of the of the theological legalism persuasion, what they like to do is have a lot of rules, regulations, and restrictions
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because it then eliminates any domination, superiority,
Right.
or egalitarian attitude in which they like to have. So now, guess what? Nobody can be more saved than anybody else, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody can be less saved than anybody else if you are saved. Either you are or you're not. You're
Mm-hmm.
either going to heaven or you're going to hell. You're not going to be on your way to hell, die, and get preached into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
And
See,
so all that hey, look here, all that comes as a result of me sitting back smoking a stick.
and look, we can take this conversation on and on and on. And just imagine if we had all these men and women of the leaf sharing with us, as I'm sure they could, but they're not. But
No, I believe in living my true self, and it's not about,
yes, yes.
hey, Michelle. At this point, if what you thought about me hadn't changed the trajectory of my life,
Mm-hmm,
it's not going to.
mm-hmm.
If how you feel
Because you
about
have
me
a
hadn't
purpose.
changed, exactly. I know exactly where I'm going. Let me just say this last thing, and I'll tell you, and then I'll be done with this. When you get a chance, and all the people that are watching, I want you all to go and look up Dr. George Scott.
Dr.
Dr.
George
George Scott.
Scott.
He was a Stanford professor, and he was the first man I ever saw. And I forgot the name of his church, but out there in LA, his wife is amazing. Melanie Scott is her name. She's like about 30 years his junior. He's passed on, he's
Mm-hmm.
died. But Dr. Scott would sit there and preach his sermons, smoking his cigar.
I
And
hear
he
you.
would call all of his people kingdom citizens. But if I tell
Mm,
you he was one of the most profound and sound doctrinal teachers,
mhm,
old white guy. He was one of the most profound and sound doctrinal teachers you will ever hear. He passed on several years ago,
mhm.
but he was, when I first saw him, I used to watch him like at 11, 12 o'clock at night because I was in Texas. Of course, he was out on the West Coast. And I would just be intrigued that this man would be just sitting up, teaching his congregation from the stage, smoking his cigar.
Mhm,
And he had thousands of people
mhm.
because nobody was tripping, watch this, on the cigar because they were attracted to
To
the
the
Savior.
doctrine. Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah, so it ain't about the leaf, it's about the law.
I hear you. I hear you.
Huh?
And that is great teaching because a lot of us don't know, you know? You,
Mhm.
so,
But you have to also be free in him.
uh-huh.
See, when you're free in him, people can't bind you up.
Say that again, sir.
Hmm.
Free in him, and
Yeah, when
people
I'm free
cannot
in him, you
bind you
can't
up.
bind me up. Watch
No,
this. Last
exactly.
another thing. God gave us free will.
Right.
He created us. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. He gave us free will. Now, if he gave me free will, why would I let you impose your will on me, and you're created by him just like me?
And the thing, when it comes to free will, I'm just going to put it out there too. It doesn't give us the right to do what it is that we think is right all the time, because I know a lot of people use that against me when it comes to the reasoning as to why they do certain things. And I was like, you know what? Thank you very much. You have the free will. Now I know who I'm dealing with and what I'm operating with, and I can choose to continue this road or go that road.
Let me say something.
That's
You just
what
said.
I got over on another conversation though.
No, that's cool because I want to touch that for a minute.
Hmm.
Actually, free will means you have the right to do whatever you want to do.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
understand, just understand that consequences
Come along with those.
are at the end of every right you exercise.
Yes.
It's just like grace. When I start preaching about grace, people get all nervous because, especially the legalists and the real religion people, they
Hmm.
get all nervous because they say, well, Pastor, you can't tell people they can do whatever they want to do. Yeah, I mean, really, they can do whatever they want to do. Now, here's the point. Grace is not about a license to live however you want to live.
No, that's
Grace
right.
is about a liberty to return from whatever life you have lived.
True. I believe that.
Is the church on here with me?
I'm sure so.
Come on, you understand what I'm saying?
And just because you have that grace doesn't give you the right to continue to do wrong.
No, watch
When
this. No, watch this, Michelle. I'm gonna press it again. I want until you say it correctly.
okay.
You have the right to do anything you want to do because you have free will. Just understand that when you exercise that right,
Hmm.
whatever
There are
wrong comes
consequences.
from it. I'm
Right.
just trying to say. So again, you don't want to slide over into that legalism where you tell people they don't have the right to do it. No, you have the right to do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But the real question is, are you ready for the consequences as a
Consequences.
result of your rights that you've exercised?
Thank you. I got it.
I hope that made sense.
It did. It did. It did. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But and I know you did several closing comments.
Hey, I'm a good old black preacher, man. I closed 3 times, man. Yeah, I'm coming to a close. I'm coming to a close.
Yeah.
You got to close at least 3 times.
And it's all good. It's all good. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining me with Patio Conversations. Experience the Leaf via YouTube and Zoom. We're going to get it together one day.
Yeah, you have me chasing you all over these social media platforms. I'm
This
on
is
IG trying to
crazy.
come on.
It's like, I was,
Mhm.
but thank you for your patience. Thank you, viewers, for your patience. If you have the opportunity and you have not done so already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Like this video, share this video, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you will be alerted the next time we do Patio Conversations. And also, Dr. Tim, tell us where we can find you on any social platform.
Okay, cool. So you can catch me at Dr. Timothy McNeil. It's all one word across all social media platforms. We've been doing the 30 Wonderful Woman
Mm-hmm.
Symposium. I'm suspending that for a few more weeks simply because of everything that's been going on
Yes,
in life.
very emotional
Not just
time.
COVID, but it's a lot going on right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be having an official statement go out probably later tonight or first thing tomorrow. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we resume the 30 Wonderful Woman Symposium, that's a women's platform, and it's an empowerment platform that I love to share with each and every one of the viewers. And so be on the lookout for that. We're getting the social media platforms for that so that you can get the updates. But
Mm-hmm.
really, right now, the best thing to do is to catch me Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Dr. Timothy McNeil. My YouTube channel is Dr. Timothy McNeil. I love to have you guys subscribe. And then ultimately, what I really love to do is have each and every one of you join us some Sunday mornings and lock
Mm-hmm.
in and be a part of our virtual worship. We're on for about an hour and 15 minutes. I do my very best to keep it as interactive and engaging as possible. I think that the people who are joining us from across the country, and we are across the country from California to Connecticut, who've joined us. I want to invite all of your listening audience to join us. And that's at www.cfcvirtual.com. That's our landing page, and you can find the live stream there. Any upcoming events in which we're going to have, you can find that as well. So I invite you guys to join us anytime. But other than that, I want to thank you, Lachelle. I thank you. I'm so happy for the platform that you have begun. Listen, there are a lot of people who are still sitting on their wishful ambitions. What I
Yeah.
appreciate about you is that you're doing something. And the one thing that I tell people all the time is that I can promise you that you'll never get anywhere if you don't leave from somewhere.
Exactly. Thank you so
So
much
keep
for
up
that
the good work.
encouragement.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Keep up the eclectic mix of topics
Mhm.
because there's enough room on your platform for everything from
Yes.
faith, finances, family, phony, funky people, whatever it is, right? You know, so
Exactly. And
yeah,
look, I look forward to coming visiting McCoy's Fine Cigars when I come to Houston.
that's
Hopefully
it.
I will
McCoy's
make it
Fine
there.
Cigars,
Yes.
900 Capitol Street, Houston, Texas, 77002.
Yes. I look forward to visiting you very soon. And maybe we can
Fantastic.
do a live patio conversation there on your patio.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, it would be my privilege and high honor to have you there.
I will keep you updated. Thank you again, sir. And thank you,
You're very welcome.
listening audience. Ta ta. And keep it
Ta-ta.
smoky. Bye.
Stay smoky. Take care.